I really appreciate you popping in with all the lives. We're all home. We're not home, but you know what I mean. We are still under restrictions. We're here working in the clinic, but with children. Right now I'm not taking, like, let's say, any adults walking in with a bad back or something like that. So a lot of people can't make it in. They can come in. What's going on though is we don't have school. So we don't have therapy programs. We don't have home programs. A lot of people are jumping onto Movement Lesson, which is awesome. You know, that's one of the things that I've been trying to do here is to have that place where you guys can call home, right? And it's a home therapy program. The best thing about Movement Lesson, if you were to never come here, everything is watching. Sorry, everything is watching. I'm seeing, normally they have the camera reversed, so I'm going to see the words. So squirrel. So what's the best thing I think about Movement Lesson is that you can never, if you never saw us, if you're in the middle of wherever, you can be in Antarctica, there's a program there for you to start setting up with you. Everything's a new learning curve, especially with vision and movement. I think a lot of people feel that vision is structurally based, which it outright can be. But there's actual structural abnormalities that are happening within vision. This would be from your acuity, right? So if I'm nearsighted, right, my eyes are starting to go because I'm aging, right? That would be one thing that's going on. So if I'm nearsighted, I see near. If I'm farsighted, I can see far away, right? The biggest problem is with vision, and this goes into more functional vision, is with vision, if you've had good vision, so like I have had vision all my life. I could read tails off an airplane. I was like 20 plus. But again, as I'm aging, genetics, all of that sort of stuff, my eyes are starting to get weaker, right? I need reading glasses, let's say. That's just purposely, it just happens, you know? But when I'm no longer using my peripheral and I'm starting to do this, I lose my balance. That is functional vision. So first of all, to look at your child's, first of all, does your child have, thank you so much for wanting to listen to me. As people, when they've watched all my videos, I can say, I'm sorry, I wish I had a better voice, but it is what it is. I'm from New York and New Jersey. So what is going on is to first understanding your child's characteristics. So it's sort of like if you came here and you were always late. The first time I might say she doesn't know where she's going, I might make that. But by the third time, if let's say you're late again, now that is your character trait, right? These are things. Well, vision has the same characteristics. So one thing is to know structure. So that's why I'm always asking, because I'm already seeing that there's an issue with the vision and the function. Right? I'm here to help your child function better. That's my main goal. I'm a helper. Honestly, I tell people this all the time. If you ask me to buy you a gallon of milk on the way to the lesson, I go buy a gallon of milk. That's my personality. That's my character trait. I'm a helper. Whether you like me or not, that's another thing, but that is my trait. I'm not a leader and I'm not a follower. You know what I mean? I like to help out. That's where my jam is at. So when you're looking at your child doing certain things or not doing certain things, I always see glass half full versus half empty, right? But again, it all depends. You can have these meetings, I'm telling you, you just walk out and, there's good things, there's not street drugs as available as people tell you there are. Especially when the children are younger, because you just don't know. It's sort of what's going on with this quarantine situation. We are being as productive as we know how to be with the information we're given. There's no plan, right? Having lack of a plan, that's what the frustration is. I just want to say we're here to here. Fine. Well, if that doesn't work, if we break these quotas, what's a quota? Then we're going to go either back to these measures forward. So again, your vision is going to be the same thing. So first of all, the dominance of your vision is going to be based off of structure. Meaning, do you have astigmatism? Do you have an acuity issue, right? Do I have a strabismus? Do I have optic nerve? So there's the structure that needs to, and there's a hierarchy to structure. When we start getting into things like CVI that we talked about last week, guys, if you want that topic on CVI, that's on last week's Facebook Live. But that is more of a function, right? There could be because of damage, but in most cases, there's an issue with the processing, right? And that could be anything from structure to this, and that's where CVI and anything to do with vision can seem overly complex. The biggest thing about vision, though, is we really don't have to teach you how to see, per se. If you have a child, that's the last thing you're wondering is their quality of vision. So that's why it gets overlooked. It's just not something that's on a parental radar, and it's not on a lot of therapists' radar. They just assume if you don't have eye-hand coordination, it's due to spasticity and so forth, not realizing that the spasticity can be due to the vision not hooking up. And so this is what I want to get into in this course, or not course, I shouldn't say that. It's a Facebook Live, guys. And that's another thing too. I'm here to help you as much as I can. We have courses that are out and coming out. Some of this just requires learning. Segment 2 starts this weekend. I just had boot camp. I'm doing what I can to offer these things to you, but not everything is just free or a quick answer, I should say. Not so much as the free part, it's the quick answer. I like to see a video. First of all, I want to get to know you, just for you to say if I have a problem crawling, right? And this is where we're going to go into developmental milestones, your midline and your vision. So most people think of midline as just the center of the body. First of all, there's not one center in the body except for the nasal septum, the vomer. Nothing straight on a human body, right? And also, gravity is not straight. I might drop an apple to the ground, right? But if I fall to the ground, because I don't have a linear structure, I'm a helical structure, meaning a spiral or circular based. And so if I were to fall, I fall differently every time. It's the same with our vision, right? So midline, and these are more my definitions because, again, I think you have a right to a better evaluation system. This is where the cognitive vision is coming out. It is a very intense, thorough program. However, you can have your child evaluated through us without doing the whole program based off of that. I'm about 3 weeks away. So your midlines actually are within every cell of the body. However, I've developed in my system to simplify it is your nose, your chin, and so forth, the sternum, your pubic bone. Now we're getting into the shoulder, the elbows, and the wrist. Now we're getting into the trochanter, the knees, the feet, the heel, your whole spine, every vertebrae, back of head, through your eardrum. So there's various midline points. However, there's also midline visually. Your right eye, let's say, right, is here. You're going to get central vision, and it's a basic midline because, again, I can have upper quadrant up until a corner. I'm still crossing a midline when you're looking at a three-dimensional object, right? But the basics is your central vision, right, on each eye, horizontal and vertical. And then it goes into your complexities. Same with the body. And this is where vision in midline comes into having its particular characteristics. So in other words, if my vision can't cross midline, right, I'm not going to see it in my body. Now again, this is what's different about adults. Now what I just did, it looks like I'm not crossing midline with my vision and my body has it, right? But we can oppose. We can hold our balance and move around like that and do these kind of movements, right? We can do all of that because we can visualize. We've had practical experience, we've had trainings, we have play, and we also have comparisons, right? These are adult functionings. You cannot take adult functionings and put them on a child. Just like a 1-year-old can't blow their nose. They don't have self-help skills at 1. They barely have it at 2, right? A 2-year-old would be like this to get their hair off their face, where someone else can be like this and do some more detailed work. That comes with age. You don't ask a 2-year-old to take your dishes away because they're going to hold it like a teddy bear and they're going to have cream spinach all over their shirt. So these are things you need to take into consideration in vision. Right? So again, when you're looking at vision, one of the things that I look for is, first of all, is a child crossing midline in their body. So when I'm seeing walking like this, right? Okay, first of all, what are my eyes doing? I'm holding my head up with my eyes. I can't see you anymore. Now I have to stop, I wobble, because again, I don't have my depth perception. I have my weak convergence, so I have to get myself together, and then I can start looking around. So these are things that I'm evaluating, guys, on the fly. I don't need to take notes. I can see that. I can see that in a mall where a child's vision is off because the midlines are off, right? So this is where I also always say, if you improve vision, you're going to improve every movement in the body, right? And I am going to get up I had two really interesting things today, but I mentioned this week about this little munchkin that I had, that literally I just did cranial work on him. But again, cranial work with the orbital lobe and the frontal lobe, orbital socket, frontal lobe. But to see him, and I tell you, it's one of the best feelings. I have a lot of good days, don't get me wrong. I have a great job. Claudia and I were just talking about this. We this is a great place. Other than we don't have an ice cream machine sitting here, this is a great place. Because we're just friends and we play, and she's here laughing now. But to see him, and just when a child's vision improves like this, and I get it on a weekly basis, right? So again, this is where you need to start looking at. So when you're coming in, looking at a visual midline, you're going to want to come in through the right, as well as separately through the left. You do not want to sit there and do something like this, because it's not showing the character. So if I'm over here, and yes, you might think it's a child, you have to get their attention. Let me tell you, any toddler, you put something near them, they're like, they throw darts. Their eyes are just, they won't miss a trick. A child walking into the room knows my inventory, right? They're not even here for 3 seconds. They come back 3 months later. Where's Donald Duck? You know what I mean? Like, they don't miss a trick. And especially with vision, where they shouldn't with the vision. So that's one thing. So you want to come in just nice and slow, right? And then you're going to also bring it in through the other side. Now, I'm not going to explain to you how to evaluate your child. I'm just explaining how midline is so important through the body. So what it is when I'm doing developmental movements, again, like a little boat, you will not see a child same, because I'll lose my balance. So when I see a child with the midline and just trying to do something like this, and a visual midline is causing issues, you see that, right? You see how I'm here and I'm trying to, and you see that with CVI, let's say. I might look at the object and I look away as I do, and I'm trying to reach for said object, right? We have a midline issue. When I'm going to crawl and I'm here, I just had this week, where I had a little child. I do a lot of Skypes, guys. If you need me, Skypes or Zoom, Claudia, Felipe as well. But I saw that she definitely has astigmatism in the left eye. So I was not seeing, again, what you might see is lack of peripheral, but again, she can't cross a visual midline, right? I said, I can guarantee you know how I'm going to prove it's vision? When she's on her tummy, she can look up to the right, but when she goes off to the left, boom, she's just flat in her back. And even the 15-year-old daughter is like, Mom, that's what she does. So the mom's being told she's low tone because it's SMA when it's totally vision, right? So this is where, again, I get it. She still has low tone. She does have SMA, but the fact that she can't stay, because she can't look up, she can't visually cross midline here, she's not going to do it on her tummy. A child is not going to go past its realm of movements. It's not going to threaten the body with a fall. It's not going to threaten the body with the can't, right? I might not be able to do something, but by George, I'm competitive too. So where there's that. So the visual midline is just as important now as your functional midlines. So again, if I'm here, and here's another one now, locked elbows. Locked elbows, I can tell you right now, a child's not going to have peripheral. And you're here, and so they need to move, because again, what the lock elbows does is it creates a lack of midline through the upper thorax, right, the upper body. And so these are just general characteristics that you'll see that a child can't go into override, right? They're not little computers where it says don't go past this point, otherwise you might be getting in, or your car, when you want to go to the red line, that I know, I like to drive fast, not in general, but I can put it. So it's the same thing. A child won't go into overdrive, right? So when they're go to do something like this, and again, you see where that's still not crossing midline. You will see a discretion between the sternum, let's say, and the vision, right? But to actually to get around, what they'll have to do is they'll have to start shuffling. Okay, so, okay, when I see this, see how my head's going back and forth? We've got a midline issue, right? So are these, I hope what you're learning is just these little trigger points that, now you're not going to say don't do that, because again, this is where a child's trying to do the job. They're smart. You know, I'm sorry, your child might have special needs or might be at risk, but if they're processing, and that's why too I like to see a video, if they're processing movement the way they are despite what they're into, like that's why, like my Graham, I always had such faith, and Graham really taught me how to see the possibilities in all of your children, right? Because everyone's like, oh my God, he's so slow, he's never going to dress himself, and I'm like, yeah, but he's still trying. He's still, it's a half hour into it. You know, you don't try anything for a half hour, and he's supposed to be special needs. He wants to get it done. So again, when you see the out of sync, right? Again, that's a midline issue. That's where you want to come in and start working on those skills. Ideally, again, it's a counter. I cross midline with my sternum, but it's not same, because see, I fell down, you don't see me, right? And this is now where you have problems, let's say, with going into your milestones. Rolling over is really your first key, that there is a situation with vision. Because truly rolling over is you should be able to dangle a ball or something visually, they follow it and somehow they're on their bellies. And then they grab it and they follow it and somehow they're on their back. They don't fall, they roll. They roll with their eyes. Their eyes should roll. And this is another form of midline. Do you see how my left eye crosses midline, right? Do you see how my right eye crosses midline? That is different than if my left eye drops to look over here. Now you, if you're taught a midline is just the nose, that drop, and see again, see what the sternum's doing? Oh, back arching, all of those kind of things. That is, again, a processing issue with the visual midline and the body's midline. Now, it might be the vision can't cross midline due to stigmatism. That's where I need the diagnosis, right? But it also could be that my sternum, because I was possibly a C-section in the NICU or whatever, it doesn't matter what the cause was, but my sternum is not crossing midline, so I'll tell you right now, my vision can't. And what I'm teaching you here, guys, is also you can pre-assess Alzheimer's. So it's Parkinson's, so forth. You can so see Lou Gehrig's within these processes that I'm talking about. It's not just for the children. So you really want to look at, again, the quality. So if you see same, that's a warning. So what's your next warning? When the head wobbles, right? Because again, see my spine's not crossing midline, so I see a shuffle and all that kind of stuff, and it's, no offense, it's like grandpa getting out of bed in the morning, right? They have these, notice I'm not looking at you. Midline issues in the vision and in the system. Again, not pointing. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, pointing. I was told the reason they point this because the brain said, don't use this finger, don't use this finger, don't use, oh, I have this one. No, first of all, it's rotation, but also look at my vision. Do you see how I have to cross midline to do all this? Oh, airplane. Look at the amounts of midlines that I have to cross for airplane. All that. Now, I might be static with my vision, but I have upper quadrant, so I've crossed midline vertically, and I'm going from side to side thinking, who's going to give me a piece of chocolate, right? Pick me up, pick me up. Those are typical things, right? Oh, my baby doesn't want to be picked up. No, they don't want to be. They physically, this is a huge midline process. Yes, pubic bone strike, all my words here going like this. But you still have issues. I'm telling you right now, if they can't bring their heads, the arms over the shoulders, big sign for developmental delays because they'll slouch or they'll back arch, right? But again, is the back arching a visual midline? That's another thing. Guess what? I should be able to look up, right? All those kind of things. Well, if I can't do that, what do I have to do? I back arch so my eyes stay on the horizon, and this is what I have to do to look at you, because I can't cross my midlines. So again, these are the things that I'm looking at, right? So do I sit there and dangle a carrot trying to get my child to look up every time he's going to fall? So what are you teaching him? The child's going to say, I'm not looking up because I'm just going to fall. So the child, in a sense, again, is more intelligent, but at the same time, it's not like we can say never look up again, right? We want that factor. But this is where you start learning movement lesson and where we can come at that best serves your child. If you're at a loss to how to best serve your child, you're at the right place. This is what the support group is here for, right? So don't look at it. Try to rethink your questions just a little bit. Not how to get my child to see me. You know, like that's such a loaded gun, right? So yes, you're going to be going into this on how we can improve this, but this is about what I'm explaining on midline and crossing midline. Again, see, this is a great question, right? How can we cross midline with the eyes? What movements should we do? What's a movement with the head and the vision, right? And I can't read the rest. This is a problem with live when you give me a whole long thing. First of all, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I would have to know your child. If your child has microcephaly, I would give you different answers. If your child has macrocephaly, I would give you different answers. If your child has lycomalacia, I would give you different answers. To just say, oh, that's what the problem is, I need to be able to look up.
She's asking if the head and vision course are for this.
Yes, the head and vision course is great. It's not specifically on midline. This comes into pretty heavy duty stuff as far as knowing how to evaluate and to cross the midline comes out of the cognitive vision course. I want you to understand with the crossing the midline, and even for maybe for your child, where I'd go after first is a chest rotation in the sternum, because like I said, it might be more of a system. It could be the pubic bone strike, right? Without a pubic bone strike, you know, I can't look up either. I need to get that to happen and to look around. So this is where, again, I'm trying to help you what best suits your child. It might seem a little bit overwhelming at first, right? You're new to even just being a therapist because your kids are home not getting school. This is new for all of us, right? I've gone through it. You know, Graham's now 17, going on 18, but we're here working together on all of that. So post a video. If you've posted a video like even 3 weeks ago and say, oh, by the way, and it's not attached to the video, that's to me, I mean, no offense, guys. I get hundreds of inquiries a day, and I'm a helper. I'm trying to help everybody. I will say too, though, for those of you that are privately messaging me, that's stopping. Really, the group is here. It's a wonderful group. Take advantage of it. But I'm not friending people like that and so forth. Again, the key movements to help with CVI and a 2-year-old with CP, I would need to see a video, right? I can't, again, the wobbly head and the neck and the drooling and all of that, there's a lot going on there. And CVI, I'm telling you right now, if you watch my last week's video, is the last thing on your list. I can tell you right now, your child has structural issues with vision, and those have to be addressed with first, and I would need to know what they are. So I hope this helps you understand vision and midline, right? We're going to be going into more and more, but really, there's the head and the vision course. I hope you all just did the boot camp. If not, guys, it is available for sale. It's a wonderful course. I'm sure everybody will jump in and tell you that. If you've done the boot camp, segment 2 opens up to you guys. If you've done it, really don't do it if you haven't done the boot camp. I mean, I know you want to maybe sneak in. You really have to understand at least the basics of touch. It doesn't replace not having segment 1, especially if you want to be a practitioner. But again, we are on lockdown and our kids need help, and I'm making provisions that maybe normally I wouldn't do. That's why I ran the boot camp again for everybody. There's the breathing course, which again really helps. And I continue to have courses. The subscription site is available, but right now in various forms. I have probably over 3,000 videos up there to help you. So there's free ones on YouTube. They're all over. I can get more specific. There's the units right there, guys. If you go right up and you see units on your Facebook group, right? There's like 24 units we have going, so you can specifically go to these areas, and they include vision, and start going through them. But really, the biggest thing that you're looking for is a plan to help your child. What I'm trying to do is throw out things out there so you know what's best to look for in your child, right? And that's why, too, sometimes the diagnosis is very limiting. Just to say your child has cerebral palsy that's, you know what I mean, that's a very wide spectrum, and we have to get specific for your child. So I really hope this helps you understand vision and midlines. I haven't put down next week's topic. I'm also going to do a video, I think, this week too, about because of vision and lack of use of vision, our kids being home online and stuck at home. I really think a lot of our kids are going to be risking going down a grade level because of the passive and active convergence playing on that's going to happen. But I'll probably do more next week on just understanding binocular vision so you can get better help for your child, right? That's where I want you to start thinking now, using movement lesson. What is what I need best for my child? I'm trying to work on better evaluation techniques so you can start going through that. But right now I have segment 2 and segment 4 running on Sunday, and that's where I had to start. And the boot camp is a great starter. It really is. I can't wait to see you guys again. I can't thank you enough for being here, and I'll see you in a little bit. But thank you for watching. Bye.